paralytic versus catalytic anxiety. And we know paralytic anxiety is when you have a freeze response to any type of danger or any type of external stimulus. Catalytic anxiety is when your house starts on fire and you run outside and you get away safely. It's related to fight, flight, freeze. When you get an external stimuli, your brain always makes a choice. Your house starts on fire, you have a choice. You can sit there and burn up, or you can run away. It's the extreme example because people need the extreme example, and you need to know the extremes of the situation, which is anything that you're trying to do. If you don't have catalytic anxiety about it, you'll get paralytic anxiety. You'll procrastinate. You won't do it. You'll wait to the last minute, and the last minute and the deadline is what will catalyze you. So that gives you your fight response, or we could say that gives you your catalytic response, right? Your fight and flight response are you're either going to do it or you're going to run away from it. And Americans, especially now that we're going into a recession, have that response to their bank accounts, to their finances. They have paralytic anxiety and they would rather do something else. They would even rather go to work than they would to check their bank account balance. Paralytic anxiety over the amount of money that they have. Ideally, if you're working towards a goal or striving towards a goal, you want to give yourself catalytic anxiety. This is why we say you need to attack your goals more drastically, right? You need to be catalytic about it. You can't be paralytic about it. People often have paralytic anxiety because they have a fear of the repercussion of their actions, or they have a fear of the result of their actions. People don't break up with other people because they're afraid of what will happen. People who get catalytic reactions because of a relationship will break up with somebody really easily.
When we're first born and when we're young children, we don't have paralytic anxiety. We tend to not have the anxiety over things and just do things and just try things. And then as we grow up, it gets beaten out of us. As we grow up, we learn to have paralytic anxiety and learn to be afraid of things that we shouldn't be afraid of. The fear of heights and the fear of snakes and one or two other things are born in. They're genetic fears that we have, that we will have the anxiety to run away from or to be afraid of. You don't want to walk to the edge of a cliff. That's very paralytic because you get afraid of heights. You want to run away from a snake. That's catalytic because it's dangerous. Same if you are in the woods and you see a bear. You want to run away. And as we grow up and as we learn about different things, we start to experience repercussions, some real, some not. And a lot of times these come from other people's opinions. And children don't have that much influence of other people's opinions that we do when we get older. And you'll hear a lot of people, you'll hear Gary Vee say it, you'll hear Peter Thiel say it. All of the people who give speeches about this sort of thing say that you need to not care about anyone else's opinion. You need to go back to being a child before you cared about other people's opinion, and back when you just tried things and back when you just did things. This also relates to the 5-second rule. So a lot of people call it the 3-second rule. Some people call it the 10-second rule. Anywhere in between 3 seconds and 10 seconds. If you are going to do something, especially in the moment, if you're going to go approach somebody at a networking meeting, if you're going to approach somebody in a bar in a dating context, if you're going to start a task towards a larger goal, you have somewhere between 3 and 10 seconds to start, to act, to take the action. And if you don't take the action, your brain is going to come up with excuses in that time, and that's where you're going to get paralytic anxiety. If you catalyze what you're doing within the first few seconds, you'll be able to act before your anxiety or before your fear or before anything else kicks in. When you start out doing a task and you take action immediately within the first few seconds, you'll find that it builds this momentum where once you tackle the first part, you can then tackle the second part easier. It's easier to continue tackling small tasks after you make that first move than it is to jump right into a larger task. And it gets easier the faster that you act on something.